Obi, social media, police station.
Derby.
Yeah, 12 hours.
Derby.
You cannot tell me KalyJay didn't impact the elections. You cannot tell me Kwadwo didn't impact the elections. You cannot tell me these social media influencers didn't impact the elections. You cannot tell me Eugene Osetutu didn't impact the elections. We impacted the elections using social media. Yes, minimum wo kaisa audio way. Me hu NPP MPs bia start social media gidigidi Vincent Asefo ka ho, Honorable Kwadwo Ponkroma ka ho. Can we also call them social media ministers ana? Now in fact, ye mubi ye hammer on the importance of social media. What are we trying to communicate? And then maybe more a lot of data. So we are branch executive, we are regional executive, we are NDC, we are young politician abaso kwechira video we. This is a very comprehensive researcher. Mahama ye amachin amede bro. Enti enye we say enye NPP say NDC say we are Eugene Osetutu say, and this is Eugene and his data. Subscribe me and click bell notification on the video be to my. This is how social media can make you win elections. And why NDC IS Adnas NPP adwema so any idea. Before Kransan and start, I mean, the lead up to the election, then the miracle trend power and I see me on FM say social media we near back. NPP we, you know, was uncle as a perfect. Mama will be an interview. See, as I'm kind.
Leading up to the election, many would several. One interview I remember very well, and I think that insert no echo viral. You made the point, say NDC for Omunya campaign. Social media no mote, but social media yen twaba wo. Do you still stand by that claim, knowing what you know now?
Obi, social media, police station.
Derby.
Yeah, twaba wo.
Derby.
Ujidi pan say NDC for elections you win because Ghana for didn't understand, believe in them, but simply because no more social media and no more win now.
No,
exactly.
But reaching cophobia social media.
There was no doubt about that. I think the point you raised with social media and the point we made with social media was that election is really about the polling station.
Yes.
All other factors counted, but the real situation is at the polling station. So that is fact. It doesn't change anything. The fact is that say on Twaba Facebook and Twitter. Some men are very active on Facebook and Twitter. But I say on Twaba. So it's one of the tools to use. But you surely cannot rely entirely on that tool. Can you? And see, that fact still remains. I don't think say anything, and now you even dispute that. But who disputes that fact? No?
Yeah, because I think the results will show you say maybe with that mindset at the time, no, you were not conscious on reaching the youth.
But you know that's not
millions.
But you know that's not true.
Okay.
You know that even when we're discussing that, we were very much active. In fact, go and look at all the social media analytics, including even the ones Imani released.
Yes.
They will tell you clearly that Dr. Bawumia was strong, very, very strong. At some point, even stronger than President Mahama on social media. So nobody discounted that. But the fact is that any polling station on social media.
Yes.
So you have to utilize that tool and campaign there, but you cannot rely on that as a basis for winning or losing an election.
Yes.
No. Your polling station.
No.
Your bubu A and B.
No.
But nobody is saying say you neglect it. All of us were there. You and I know say we live there. I basically live there. But my phone they be a So nobody discounted. I think what rather has happened is a spin and a twist. You know that's what has been applied to that video. The fact that Ubia share video no say social media doesn't win elections. That's a spin. But that's not the facts. That's what the point we made here. That's what I just say. So that spin can continue and say you can't do anything about it. But the fact of the matter is that the elections happen in the homes of the Ghanaian people. Abano is see Ghana for polling station or any twaba. And see you have to do much more in ensuring say what's no e be do Ghana for ewo omufie. You get what I'm saying? But obi obi konto kwana say obrowa obi to be 30 years old.
Sure.
We are we are Kenya. You kweni win yanka. This will not be a conversation. But once you go into a contest and you lose, you should accept every single feedback, criticism, whether good or bad, because you have lost. Because at the end of the day, if Anka will approach, idea superior Anka who we need. And I don't think it's something that we should do. Ever since you lose, I've always told people say, let's acknowledge the fact that for whatever it may be,
yes,
the NDC won the elections and they won it against us. It could be for several reasons. There are times that political parties can even win elections without doing anything. Because the other person was just the other opponent might be
a referendum
doing,
on the opponent.
Exactly. It is,
and then the performance.
And that's exactly what's reflected in the 2024 elections. Without doubt, the 2024 elections, it is without doubt a referendum on our government. There is no doubt about that. So you didn't need to have an extraordinary political party to be able to win an elections against. What we were doing was to work really hard to do something. Say what to say party be we need 10 elections or my way. So I just say it was quite a formidable, a difficult task, to execute, and that is what we put all our energy and efforts into. That notwithstanding, NDC for winning, and they won it resoundingly.
Yes,
they won it resoundingly.
Yes, so that is that. But I disagree. The reason why I disagree, me na netete wa mo fenchem my ya enko minim ni ntie pese. You see, when you look at social media, the first time I'm taking social media serious was a documentary Engrophobia, your friend knocked down the house. They did a documentary on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They did it on Cory Bush, Paula, Sovereign, Annie Valera. And they were looking at how a man getting is uncle for to establish candidate USA. And one thing they realized was that they use social media to do the mobilization. It is a chairman sabon, super so tuna. Swami one kasa de bad day, but when you leverage a certain swell of people on social media, Namabuna was swami neje wonyema tuma swami, and they will be able to uproot. That basically the documentary. Now, no. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or to incumbent NPP friend John Crowley, Democrat primaries, Charlie, no, established the chairman to me too because of social media. It's really who will be on or downplay and as on the my social media. But the demons, Abranti. Anna me whom ye social media. So win election in the 21st century. You cannot do that to that social media. You be say be kind of me. You just say to me, why am I saying so? Yanko data, yanko statistics. Ghana, there were 38.3 million cellular mobile connections in Ghana. Now, out of these connections, 24.3 million individuals in Ghana use internet. Online penetration is 70% in Ghana. 69.99%. This data report out. Data report out just say Ghana, your data. Send your data statistics when it comes to social media, send your 70%, meaning that when you look at the population that has access to mobile phones, 70% with internet. Internet, meet me on FaceTime. Me on TikTok. What me send on WhatsApp. So I forward message on what me send no. This is the data. Now I say Ghana was home to 7.95 million social media users identified in January 2025, equating to 22.9% of the total population. There were almost 23% of Ghana total population almost social media. Me say 24.3 million have access to internet. Otimi Google, otimi ade. Beba social media platforms X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Omo was no. 22.9% of Ghana population, 23%. 23%. Now the population of Ghana is 24.7 million. 23% of them are on the internet. Now let's look at something. When you go to Ghana, your demography, already between what 13 and 17, right? 10%. Now let's look at from 18 to 24. Your population in Guano 18 to 24 is 13%. Now let's do some statistics here. Where basic statistics, where just additions and you be and me say them the buffer when you we see me no there. If they are 13%, right? You compare them to my omeni akotwa bana how the ones do 64, right? So 13% plus 15 plus 12.3% plus 8.6% plus 5.6%. So 54.5% of Ghana's population are between 18 and 54 years. Most of these people find themselves in the 23 bracket, almost social media, and the 70% bracket do have access to internet. So if you are doing an election and you don't have a strategy to target these people, who are you sending your messages to? Because radio is why they listen to social media, they watch politics on YouTube, they listen to and in social media platforms and more. Now, what is interesting is that when you look at data, mobile data, the internet, my internet user, let's break it down into social media. Now let's do the social media statistics. Social media, or say data reporter figures show that 7.95 million active social media users identifies in Ghana in January 2025. And to almost 8 million social medias in Ghana, they are active. It's baby. Or say, for perspective, this figure was equivalent to 22.9% of Ghana's population at the start of 2025. Into 8 million, 23% representative of Ghana's population. Now say, however, there be my methodology, my statistics say, turning our attention to user demography, data published in ad planning tools of social media platforms indicate that there were 7.95 million users aged between 18 and above using social media in Ghana at the beginning of 2025, which was equivalent to 39.2% of total population aged between 18 and 25. Almost baby a man for your advert, almost kosher back end in the active for social media, mostly 18 and above. Ghana, who this year about 18. So another place you can get the people who are 18 and eligible to vote is on social media. So if you say social media doesn't win an elections, I disagree. Now, or say, at the time, 42.7% of Ghana's social media users were identified as females, and 57.3% were males. Now, a man don't see with social media. It's where great say, a member does see social media. So when you're bar, where you're bema, with this insight, you can know how to even sell your candidate. Where should Samira Bawumia focus more? Where should Professor Jenano Kwadwo focus more? Where should Mama Lodina focus more? All these things are social media insights that can guide the planning of your political strategy going into an election. Now I'll say, and for other contests, it may be helpful to know that 32.7% of Ghana's total internet user base, regardless of age, use at least one social media platform. It's of the 8 million, at least back on Facebook, back on X, back on Instagram, back on TikTok. So you don't leverage or use one social media strategy and do not use the other. Meaning that you must have a comprehensive social media strategy as a political party. And the NDC had that. They had that strategy. It was powerful, it was visible, it was nice. Now, they leveraged it. Now, or say, over YouTuber, or say, Google's advertising ratio indicate that YouTube had 7.81 million users in Ghana. YouTube have almost 8 million users in Ghana. YouTube or say, caveat aside, the company's data suggests that YouTube ad reach in early 2025 was equivalent to 22% of Ghana's total population. So we are advert to YouTube to videos. So we are advert to YouTuber. At least 23% of people in Ghana sees it. Do you know what that means? Radio station man about 23% of Ghana population at a go. Radio station man. Peace FM to me fair mount. Radio Go to me fair mount. XYZ to me fair mount. Inshire FM to me fair mount. By YouTube will give you 23% eyeballs. 23% oh. Or say 46.8% of YouTube's adult audience in Ghana were females, while 23%. Yes, I remember the also in that. Now, my member Facebook. Or say, data published in Facebook advertising results indicate that Facebook has 7.95 million users in Ghana. It tells us all my YouTube, no man, Facebook. Because I say internet users in 8 million. So if you have 7.95 million, meaning that people have multiple social media accounts. Or say, however, Meta made important changes to its advertised resources. Blah blah blah. Or say, figures published in Meta's own tools indicate that Facebook potential reach in Ghana increased by 555,000 between January 2024 and January 2025. Oma echo Facebook. Omo advert every will leverage the year political advert no increase by 500,000 within 1 year. Na Ghana radio station man now cost 1 million rich cry. 500,000, 550,000. Which radio station? Tell me. So you need to leverage social media. You need to leverage social media. It is the main thing. It is the main thing. Oko X. Now remember X there. X, which is formerly Twitter, indicate that you have 1.21 million users in Ghana. Now I say X and then popular to say Facebook and TikTok. And I say YouTube. Because and you are 7.95, 7.8 something. Where you're 1.2, and that's a man than X. But I'll say, okay, X allows people 13 and above to use its platform. So it's worth adding that the latest figure suggests that 5% of the eligible audience in Ghana and X are at the age of reproduction. Furthermore, data published in the company's act indicate that 5.8% of adults aged between 18 and above in Ghana use X at the beginning of 2025. So all these social media tools have people, 8 million of them. And this is how a political party must take advantage of it. So because you say social media, we need election and answer or persuasion as a social media factor or what? That is where opinions are shaped. Nipo ba ko start bibia 8 million no. If the person has a positive influence, if the person has a celebrity influence, if the person influences their mind in a certain way, they will adapt that social media strategy of that person and vote. So you cannot tell me KalyJay didn't impact the elections. You cannot tell me Kwadwo didn't impact the elections. You cannot tell me this social media influencer didn't impact the elections. You cannot tell me Eugene Osetu didn't impact the elections. We impacted the elections using social media. We impacted the election using social media. And the data is there. The data is there. So, social media is a landmine. Misu Yefrashe, a document to knock down the house. Next year, baby. Minim data, I wanted to give you this data. Share with me what you make of this data. Na yemo Ghana home komo. Subscribe and click the bell notification. If I comment, bra, you I'm sure so be. Bye bye. Take care of yourself. Ghana here. Bye bye.